Hello, welcome to my daily watercolor practice video. I do these videos every day where I practice different things each day. Today we will be practicing lifting with different methods. I do these videos every day, like I mentioned, and yeah, we practice lots of different things. So I hope you join me. They will be easy, no need to worry. So grab your brushes, grab your paints, and let's just do some calm watercolor practice without pressure, but hopefully it will also be helpful. I find that trying something kind of more intentionally can really help you kind of just understand it better, I guess. So the first thing I want to start with is we'll be practicing lifting, so removing a bit of paint from wash that we laid out, and we will be using different methods for this, or rather different tools. So it doesn't really matter which colors we use. I'm not going to go into too technical details. We'll just grab any color, lay it down, and then we will lift with a piece of tissue. I'm literally using just some toilet paper. So just scrunch it any way you want, and there we go, just a bit of lifting. And then the next one with the end of the paintbrush. Now we're just going to try all these different ways of lifting and compare them. Now, lots of other things will affect how it will turn out, but let's just try tools first, then we will try things like timing and stuff. So now I'll use the end of the paintbrush. I'll try to kind of do like grasses. Well, this is not really working. I think it's probably too wet. I might have to let this dry a little bit. Maybe I should have practiced timing first. But hey, I want to show you kind of how I practice even when I fail, just so that you can see that, you know, watercolors are not easy in general. Sometimes even when you're very intentional, things can go wrong. So with this one, I use the end of the paintbrush, and I like how you can drag the paint like out of the shape that you laid down. Now the next one will be with a scrap piece of paper. I'm not sure. I don't really use this method much, so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I'm going to use maybe like a brown color this time. Okay, I think I probably need to let it dry as well. Let's see, maybe I'll do, yeah, I think it's still a little bit too wet. So similar as the paintbrush, but could I maybe like do a, like scrape it a bit? It can be used for like scraping away. That looks very messy. I don't know. Okay, well, I messed this one up completely. Clearly, this is not something I normally do. I think for a reason, I guess. Okay, cotton bud. I have to admit, I've not used the cotton bud, even though it makes perfect sense to use one, but I usually just use a tissue. Let's maybe go with the red. Here we go. And I'm just going to lift with a cotton bud. Very controlled, quite predictable, I'd say. Very easy. Okay, next one with a palette knife. What color? Maybe blue this time. Okay. Something's wrong with my paper. Have I been touching it too much? It's just a little bit like, I feel like the paint is almost like sitting on top of it. Something strange is happening. But hey, we will have to work with it. Okay. I'll try to scrape straight lines. Oh, Look at that, very controlled, very easy. Easier than this. Thinner. Usually I use this and this. I can see that this one is actually, we can also scratch like that. Yeah, you can also do a very thin line. Okay. And the last one that I want to try is actually using a damp, well, not very damp, like a clean brush, but not too wet. What will it look? Maybe a purple. Shall we try a purple? Make sure that it's quite clearly visible. This paper just feels wrong to me today. I don't know. Strange. Anyway. Right. I think I'm actually going to use a smaller brush for this. Small brush. Even going to just dry it a little damp, and try to lift something. I think this doesn't show up very well because my wash is not very flat. Normally it's quite a neat way to remove some paint. There we go. So after each time we use it, we actually need to clean it, otherwise I'm just going to be dragging the paint. Okay, that will do. Right, so that's that. Now let's actually focus on timing. So I will use the same wash this time, I think, and we will lift. What should we use for lifting? I think maybe a piece of like tissue. So we will do what we did here, very similar. Lay down the wash, scrunch a piece of tissue and lift. Now the next one, no, I'm just going to set up my clock so that I can keep an eye on it. Okay, so I can paint both of them down. And I'll just have to wait. There we go. Let's use a clean tissue. Okay, 20 seconds. Not much difference actually. This is still fairly damp. Perhaps I should have done a bit more time difference. But I think the 1 minute one, still fairly damp, I guess. We'll see. Okay, 10 more seconds. After this, we will try to lift the different shapes, because this is where actually using this method kind of helps a lot when you know what actually you're trying to lift. Like, for example, you can lift a round sun, or lines, you can lift grasses, stuff like that. Okay, that's been a minute now. Okay, so definitely this one is more fuzzy. It's not as clean, but it's still fairly quite good. We can still lift quite a lot. Okay, the next thing I want to do is lift a shape. So for round shape, I want to lift like, I want it to look like sun. That's why I think the blue one will look well. So normally what I would do, I would actually use a brush and just kind of do like a circle with it. But I think I'm actually going to use cotton bud. This looks quite well too. Should I wet it a bit? There we go. Okay, lines. We will try to do grasses, but this time, so the thing is, when depending on how wet the paint is, sometimes when you lift you can create darker lines, but sometimes you can create white lines rather than like dark green in this case. So I will need to wait for it to dry a little bit more, and hopefully I can find the time when I'm actually able to create white lines. Right, I think I'm gonna have to just let it dry, and then for the random one I think tissue is probably the best. Let's use a red one. For the random one I often would use that for flower paintings, especially for poppies. I feel like it creates these nice petals. And after we do these exercises I will show you some examples of how I would use lifting techniques. So let's just do, this would be like a poppy petal, and then we'll just kind of, there we go. Obviously this doesn't look like a petal, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's see if this is, I don't think this is dry enough yet, but I'm just going to test it maybe somewhere on this side. Now it's still creating a line. If I try here, no, still. Starting to scratch it away a little bit. No, still dark. I'm struggling with the white lines. If it's too dark, what basically happens is, if it's too damp, the paint will run into the lines that I created. So the paint will kind of just like puddle in those lines. That's why it needs to be dry, almost dry for it to work. I might have to pause this and then come back when I feel like it's a little, like ready for it basically. Right, so I just tested it and I managed to do one white line. It seems like the paper needs to be almost dry for it to work. I wonder if, oh, there we go. So it's really way more dry than I expected. I kind of wonder if a type of paper also makes a difference, because this is not a cotton paper. Maybe a cotton paper is a little bit easier for this technique. Yeah, I'm already kind of struggling. It looks like I'm literally damaging the paper, but anyway, that's pretty nice to use for like grasses and that stuff. Now the next thing I want to show you is how I would actually use these. So I still kind of need to wait for this to dry, but I wanted to show you I finally have washi tape. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I was using cling film instead of washi tape, which was a bit of a disaster because, well, I didn't have a thin enough one anyway. So we're going to try to paint some clouds with lifting next, but first I just wanted to invite you to open this with me and pick a nice washi tape. I need scissors, hang on. Right, there we go. Da da da. Okay, so my daughter told me to leave the sushi one for her. I think, shall we go with something like this? Oh, I can't take it out. Right, where's my palette knife? Ah, there we go. Okay, sorry to waste your time. I think I probably need to pause this. I'm basically going to tape around here. We're going to paint some clouds and do some lifting, and then we're going to maybe do a poppy as well. Here we go. That's so cute. I can't tell you how happy I am that I have washi tape finally. Right, so I'm going to use, I need a bigger brush. I'm really not prepared today. There we go, I found something. Okay, so we're going to paint just a blue, wash of blue. And then we're going to lift some clouds. And once I've kind of painted a few clouds like that, I really just couldn't stop. I find them so fun to do. So let's just make a sky and do some clouds. I don't think I taped it down very well. It's not going to be a crisp edge. Oh well. Okay. Lovely blue rectangle. And now when I paint clouds, another thing that I pay attention to is that I try to have bigger clouds at the top, because that's usually where they will be closer to us, and then in the distance I'll have smaller ones. So let's just, you can use a kitchen towel or any sort of tissue. So we're going to make a nice big cloud. But that's not the end. We will do some more with them. Then we'll do a little bit smaller one here. And then another thing, it would be good also, rather than a flat wash, to have it more like a graduated, what's the word for it? Variegated? No, variegated. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, you know, the one where it's like darker here and then lighter at the bottom. But I went simple today. Right, so now I'm going to grab a small brush and make a very pale mix. Where is my small brush? I really can't find anything today. I have been away for a week and I'm just really not with it. No, I'm gonna have to pause, sorry. I still can't find a small brush, so I'm just going to use size 4. And I'm making a very pale mix with just kind of like a shadow color. Anything really. I usually use indigo for it. Very pale, very, very pale. And then I'm just going to add it underneath. This should be dry. The wash should be dry. It's dry enough so that it doesn't bleed. Now we're just adding a little bit of a swirly grey underneath. And even though it's such a simple thing, it does make them look a bit more three-dimensional. And then I'm just like softening this edge. I think I actually probably went a little bit too pale, but that's okay. We can just darken it a little bit. Let's see. Oh no, I used too much water. Okay, yeah, so I am being too impatient, and I actually created these cauliflowers because the wash was not dry enough. But you know what? I'm not too mad about it. Something new that I've learned. Let's just leave it at that. That was that was the principle, but obviously I mess up. I mess up a lot in these videos, and you know, it's kind of freeing to feel like, oh, I messed up in front of people, and so what? Not such a big deal. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is use some alizarin crimson and do a bit of like a poppy shape. Let's just do literally like a blob. Like a blob. Add some center to it with maybe blue and purple. I like to do like an inky color for the center of the poppy. I think it might be a little bit early for it, but there we go. And we can use a bit of tissue to just make the petals a little bit more kind of delicate. There we go. This is obviously not finished. I would then add some more, but I think that's it for today. I'm feeling a little bit distracted. It is quite late. I'm a little tired, so I'm just going to peel this off because that's very satisfying. And that's it for today. So I hope you liked it. I hope you'll try some of these exercises for yourself, and I'm pretty sure you'll do better than I did. Good luck.